Discovered, a poor girl with no shoes shocks millionaire CEO, transforms life among 25 candidates. Mia stood on the cracked pavement, her worn-out shoes sticking to the gritty concrete, the year-old pair barely holding together. They had carried her through countless obstacles on the streets of her underfunded neighborhood, but today they felt lighter. A spark of hope ignited in her heart. Each step echoed ambition fueled by dreams that glimmered like the city lights above. Raised by her grandmother, a fierce widow and Vietnam veteran, Mia learned resilience like no other. Their cramped apartment, brimming with memories, was a testament to silent sacrifices just to keep the lights buzzing every month. For her grandmother, pride shimmered every day, even when the weight of struggle pressed down like a heavy fog. "You keep moving forward, Mia," she would say, her wise eyes sparkling with affection. Mia held on to those words as if they were her lifeline. But today, her heart raced with a mix of fear and excitement. She had decided to apply for the mentorship program launched by Millionaire CEO Daniel Thompson, a chance to break out and make something of herself, a way to hoist her dreams onto her shoulders, despite all the doubts weighing her down. As the competition drew closer, Mia glanced over at her classmates preparing with fancy resources and expensive tutors. She was just a girl with chipped nails and scuffed shoes, the echoes of doubt swirling in her mind. Those thoughts only intensified when she looked across the room and saw Sarah, the girl with an effortless air of confidence. Sarah's privilege always made winning seem effortless, her every stride a testament to the opportunities she had taken for granted. Late nights turned into sacrifices as Mia studied long after her grandmother's soft snores filled the tiny apartment. The fierce inner conflict clawed at her should she pursue a dream deemed too far-fetched. Yet, something kept pushing her forward, sparking curiosity and daring. The competition commenced, and she found her strength in every challenge. Though others looked at her incredulously, she fought through relentless skepticism and social prejudice, her vulnerability exposed but her spirit ablaze. Then came the final challenge, her heart racing so fast she could hardly catch her breath. When faced with a choice to either advocate for her own dreams or prioritize her grandmother's needs, the air hung heavy with tension. The judges loomed, a sea of wealth and privilege. In that moment of highest pressure, Mia's voice rang out, raw and unwavering. A truth broke through the noise, a powerful revelation of her journey, the grit of her fight, the heart behind her hope. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let us continue. The aftermath felt bittersweet. The judges debated a scholarship based not solely on merit but a connection to community support and perseverance, igniting a wave of heated discussions. Doubts whispered in the air, questions of privilege weighed heavy. Could someone with Mia's background really belong? Each heartbeat echoed uncertainty, yet she stood firm, a symbol of practice and possibility. That night, just as hope shined like a beacon before her, Mia received a desperate call from her grandmother. A family emergency yanked her back to the reality she couldn't escape. Torn between her newfound opportunity and loyalty to her roots, Mia stood at a crossroads, emotions swirling in a storm of conflict. Would she step boldly into a world that often cast her aside, or would she retreat into the shadows of her past, where comfort and love dwelled? As they embraced, the weight of unspoken love and sacrifice felt palpable, leaving the question lingering in the air: could Mia forge a path that honored her family while pursuing her dreams? Mia felt the weight of the world on her shoulders as she returned home, the streetlights casting long shadows on the cracked pavement beneath her feet. The call from her grandmother echoed in her mind, a frantic plea that pulled her heart in two directions. Should she stay in her neighborhood, offering support in a time of need? Or should she chase after dreams that seemed to shimmer like distant mirages? As she entered the small apartment, the familiar scent of jasmine assaulted her senses, a bitter reminder of what she might lose if she chose to follow her ambitions. Her grandmother sat at the kitchen table, worry etched across her features, her hands clasped tightly in front of her. Mia felt a pang deep in her chest, a painful reminder of the sacrifices her grandmother had made for her, sacrificing comfort so that Mia could have a fighting chance. "Mia, is everything okay?" her grandmother asked, her voice laced with concern. Mia swallowed hard, weathered by the emotional storm. "I got through to the last round of the competition, Grandma." "It's a huge opportunity, then you must go," her grandmother interrupted, the fierce fire she had nurtured in Mia flaring up once again. "You have to seize this chance. It's what we've fought for, right? But you need me here too. What if something happens while I'm away?" Mia argued, tears stinging her eyes. Her grandmother reached for Mia's hand, a steady anchor amidst the chaos. "Whatever happens, we will figure it out together. Your dreams matter. Don't let them fade away because I'm scared to be alone." The strength in her voice was undeniable, kindling a flicker of hope in Mia. Mia stared at her grandmother, tracing the lines of her weathered face. Here was a woman who had endured battles, who had fought for her country, for a future that had always seemed just out of reach. A future she now held in her own trembling hands. "But what if I fail?" Mia whispered, the vulnerability heavy on her heart. "Then you'll pick yourself up and try again," her grandmother replied, squeezing Mia's hand tighter. "That's what we do. We fight." The mantra echoed back to Mia from the depths of her childhood, instilling a sense of courage she thought had been buried under doubt. As the sun set, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Mia felt a renewed rush of determination. The choices ahead felt daunting, but each one now shimmered with possibility. If Daniel Thompson had seen something in her, then she owed it to him and most importantly to herself and her grandmother to give it everything she had. The next day arrived with a pulse of nerves buzzed through her like electricity. As she walked into the lavish conference room, a stark contrast to her humble beginnings, her heart raced. Other candidates mingled, confident and polished. But Mia had something they could not see. Inside her burned an ember of perseverance that no wealth could extinguish. During their first meeting with Daniel Thompson, he studied her, the silence stretching out like a taut wire. "Mia," he said finally, "tell me what drives you." In that moment, she poured out her soul, sharing her fears, her hopes, and the love of her grandmother that fueled her every step. The room filled with hushed whispers as Daniel leaned forward, his blue eyes capturing hers. Suddenly, she didn't feel small or out of place, she felt powerful, like she was breaking down walls with her words. But just as Mia prepared to embrace that power, the door swung open, interrupting everything. A figure rushed in, someone from her past she never expected to see again, someone who could change everything she fought for. Could Mia navigate this unexpected twist, or would it send her spiraling back into doubt? Mia's heart skipped a beat when she saw the figure rush in. The familiar silhouette, with its tousled hair and worn jeans, felt like a ghost from the past. Samuel. Her childhood friend. The one who had promised to be there no matter what, but who had vanished when life got tough. "Mia." Samuel's voice broke the silence as he scanned the room, locating her. The sharp intake of breaths around the conference table was almost palpable. Mia's throat tightened. What was he doing here? The blend of joy and panic swirled inside her. "What are you doing here, Sam?" she whispered, forcing a smile even though her insides churned. I didn't expect to see you here. I was called in for a last-minute pitch." He nervously pulled at his collar, that familiar gesture she remembered from their younger days, before the world taught them that dreams weren't always meant to be chased. Mia felt Daniel's piercing gaze shift between the two of them, no doubt trying to gauge the rest of the story lingering in the air. "Samuel, can you share what your project is about?" he asked, cutting through the tension. "I'm working on a community app that connects local businesses with residents. It aims to strengthen neighborhood ties," Samuel explained, his voice gaining confidence with each word. The passion in his tone reminded Mia of the late-night dreams they used to share, sketching future plans with bright markers on scrap paper. Interesting. Daniel leaned back, intrigued. The moment felt surreal. Here was this boy from her past, standing in front of one of the most influential people in the industry, and Mia found herself grappling with mixed emotions. And then Samuel's gaze landed on her, a warm flicker of recognition shining through. "Mia, I didn't know you were pursuing this too. I always knew you'd chase your dreams." A rush of adrenaline surged through her, competing with the shadows of doubt creeping back in. Would he see her as the girl she had been? The girl who barely managed to scrape by, or as the woman she was trying to become? "Yeah, well, it's a big leap," she said quietly, trying to maintain composure. Daniel cleared his throat. "Let us move forward. I'd like to see how each of you can innovate on your ideas." He looked intently at Mia. "Mia, would you like to present first?" The words hit her like a rush of cold water. Her palms turned clammy, and she could see Samuel watching her with a mix of pride and encouragement. She looked down, fighting the brewing storm in her chest. Okay. I think I have something that could work," she managed, her voice stronger than she felt. As she stood up and collected her thoughts, she could feel Samuel's support behind her like an invisible tether. As Mia began her presentation, pouring her heart into her vision, she suddenly noticed that the walls of her previous doubts were starting to crack. The fear transformed into an invigorating force that connected her to the words she shared. And as Samuel nodded thoughtfully, she realized they were both fighting their own battles in this room. The presentation concluded, bringing a round of respectful claps from the room. It felt bright, exhilarating, but lingering unease surfaced. Then Daniel interrupted her thoughts. "Thank you, Mia. Now, let us hear more from Samuel." Mia stepped back, her heart still racing. Would she get lost in this moment, buried under memories of a past that now felt so distant? But as she watched Samuel start his pitch, a realization dawned on her. This wasn't just a competition, it was a shared journey. They had each other's backs, even when the road ahead was uncertain. As Samuel spoke earnestly, Mia noticed Daniel leaning in, intrigued, and her heart began to lift. Amid the uncertainty of what might come next, a thread of hope stirred inside. Would the past bring them closer, or would it create a divide that would challenge everything Mia had fought for? And just then, the door swung open again, drawing all eyes. More surprises were coming, and Mia's heart thudded in anticipation. What new challenges awaited them now? The door swung wide, revealing a woman dressed in a sharp, tailored suit that screamed authority. Her perfectly coiffed hair and piercing blue eyes held an intensity that silenced the room instantly. Mia felt a shiver run down her spine, instinctively sensing that this was someone important. "Sorry for the interruption," the woman said, leveling her gaze at Daniel. "I'm sorry to disrupt your pitch sessions, but I needed to speak with you immediately." Mia instinctively leaned closer to Samuel, who looked equally bewildered. The tension thickened as they watched Daniel's brow furrow slightly, his composure shifting. "This isn't the time, Rebecca. We're in the middle of something important," he replied, but the hint of urgency in his voice was unmistakable. "Important? Or life-changing?" Rebecca countered, her expression fierce. "Listen, a situation just crossed my desk that you need to be aware of." She paused, scanning the room as if weighing the gravity of her next words. Mia held her breath, her heart racing with questions. What could possibly be so monumental? "I've just been informed that another tech company is prepping to launch a competing app, and they have a massive budget to back it. If we're going to beat them to market, we need a fresh perspective." She turned her gaze to Mia and Samuel. "And I think this is exactly where you both come in." Mia felt her stomach drop. Was this opportunity really for them? She had just begun to settle into her space in this world, feeling the thrill of connections and aspirations. But now, it felt like stepping into a whirlwind. "Are you suggesting we work together?" Samuel asked, his voice tinged with disbelief. That's exactly what I'm suggesting, Rebecca replied. You both share a vision that can become revolutionary if we harness it correctly. We need to set up a joint meeting tomorrow to brainstorm how to differentiate your pitches from the competition. Her eyes sparkled with determination. You've got passion. I can feel it. But passion means nothing without execution. It's time to strategize. Mia glanced at Samuel, whose eyes held the same mix of excitement and apprehension swirling inside her. Here they were, at the precipice of a major potential breakthrough together. Daniel turned from Rebecca to the two friends, an odd blend of skepticism and curiosity on his face. We'll make it work, he said after a moment, almost as if convincing himself. I believe in both of your ideas. And just like that, a new chapter began to unfurl in front of them. As the meeting concluded, Mia felt that thrill wash over her again, but it was different this time. It felt like a storm of possibilities. They were strangers reunited, now partners with a shared goal. Would they be able to harness this momentum? Samuel approached her, a shy smile playing on his lips. This could be amazing, Mia. Can you believe it? Mia shook her head slowly, still processing. No. But I hope so. She could feel the weight of her dreams shifting in the balance, the dawn of something extraordinary. But as they exchanged ideas, a nagging worry crept in. Would their past as friends complicate this newfound business partnership? Could they navigate the murky waters ahead without losing sight of who they were? They left the conference room buzzing with energy, but with every step, doubt nipped at their heels. The elevator doors began to close, but Mia caught a glimpse of Rebecca still in deep discussion with Daniel. A sense of unease washed over her. What if this was too much too soon? What if they weren't ready for what was to come? As the elevator descended, the bright lights of the building faded behind them, leaving Mia with a looming question: were they truly ready to fight for their dreams, and would they stand together against the challenges lurking just out of sight? Mia stepped out of the elevator, the weight of the impending meeting tugging at her thoughts. Samuel walked beside her, deep in contemplation. The crowds bustled around them, yet their own swirling emotions made the world feel oddly muted. Stepping into the bright sunlight felt both exhilarating and overwhelming. I can't shake this feeling, Mia said, shaking her head as they crossed the street. What if we fall flat on our faces? What if we're not ready? Samuel paused, tilting his head so their eyes met. His brow furrowed slightly. Do you remember when we built that app for students? Everyone said it wouldn't work, too complex, too ambitious. But we did it, didn't we? Yeah, but that was different. This is, she hesitated, searching for the right words, like diving into the deep end. A whole new level. I get that, but remember the pride we felt when it actually worked. That thrill. It was worth the risk. His confidence seeped into her, though uncertainty still lingered like a ghost. They reached the cafe where they often met to dream up ideas, but today felt different. Today, it was about strategy, preparation, and performing under pressure. Mia could feel the surge of adrenaline in her veins as they stepped inside. The familiar aroma of coffee and pastries enveloped them. Samuel ordered their usuals while Mia surveyed the room, her mind racing. Soon they settled into a corner booth with their drinks, laptops opened, papers sprawled across the table. Samuel flipped through his notes, excitement lighting his face as he spoke. If we focus on user experience, we can make our app really intuitive. Something that sets it apart, that makes users feel good. Mia nodded, her enthusiasm igniting. And what if we add a feature that connects people, not just technology? A community aspect? Exactly. A place where users can share stories, tips, be supported. It's more than just an app, it's a movement. Samuel grinned, but she could see the flickers of doubt hidden behind his enthusiasm. Their brainstorming sessions merged ideas seamlessly, the sparks of collaboration igniting hope. But deep inside, a feeling of vulnerability clenched Mia's stomach. What if their rekindled friendship shattered under the weight of ambition? Unspoken fears hung in the air. As they packed their things to leave, the atmosphere shifted. Mia's phone buzzed. Her heart lurched. It was a message from Rebecca, and it was urgent. We need to talk. New developments regarding the competitor. Meet me ASAP. Is everything okay? Samuel asked, catching her tense expression. Not sure. Mia could feel her stomach knot in apprehension. We need to go. They hurried back to the office, the world racing past them, a blur of sunlight and shadows. Inside, Mia's heart drummed an anxious beat. What was it this time? Would they be able to handle whatever was coming? As they approached the conference room, Rebecca's intense gaze met them, concern etched across her features. You're just in time. We're dealing with something big that could change our entire strategy. We need a plan, and we need it fast. The gravity of her words hung in the air. Mia's heart dropped, adrenaline flooding her system. She exchanged a questioning glance with Samuel, who only nodded, his own resolve hardening. Are we ready for this? She whispered to him as they stood outside the door, uncertainty swirling in the pit of her stomach. He squeezed her hand reassuringly, but worry flickered in his eyes. Maybe this was about more than just a project. Maybe it was about proving they could do anything together. With one last deep breath, they stepped forward into the unknown. But as they entered, Mia couldn't shake the feeling that not everything was as it seemed. A secret loomed ahead, threatening to unravel everything they built. After all, what if the competition wasn't just in the market, but right within their walls? The moment Mia and Samuel stepped into the conference room, the air shifted. Rebecca was standing at the front, her arms crossed tightly over her chest, a familiar sign that she was worried. The room was eerily quiet, all eyes locking onto them as they entered. Thanks for coming, Rebecca said, motioning them to sit. Mia felt her heartbeat quicken. The tension in the air was so thick it could be cut with a knife. Everyone knew something significant was about to drop. The competitor has made some unexpected moves, Rebecca continued, her voice steady but laced with urgency. They're launching a feature that directly overlaps with ours. They're trying to capitalize on our strengths before we even go live. A low murmur spread through the room. Mia felt the sting of disappointment wash over her. They had worked so hard on their unique ideas, on what set them apart. What do we do now? She blurted, her mind racing through possibilities and potential responses. We regroup, Samuel replied, firing off suggestions. We need to focus on what makes our app different. Connect with our users on a deeper level, just like we discussed. Rebecca nodded, right. But we need a more immediate response. We can't let them steal our thunder. Mia felt the weight of the words hang heavy in her chest. The pressure to pivot, to act fast, was almost suffocating. She glanced at Samuel, whose eyes displayed a mix of determination and concern. We can tighten our timeline, ramp up our marketing strategy, find our unique voice, he suggested. Mia felt a flicker of hope. And maybe leverage community stories to build anticipation. We can emphasize how our app isn't just about technology, it's about real connections. Rebecca's eyes lit up. Yes, that's it. Tell the stories of users who have benefited from what we've built. We'll show how we can make a difference, not just offer a product. The energy in the room shifted as everyone began throwing out ideas, building upon each other's thoughts. Hope surged in Mia's chest. It felt like they were reassembling a puzzle with unexpected pieces, bits of inspiration lighting up the room. But just as Mia was about to speak about her own vision, a crisp knock interrupted the brainstorming, evidently a detail that didn't sit well with the group. The door opened, revealing a stranger in a sleek suit, his posture full of confidence. Sorry to interrupt, he said smoothly, but I believe we have some business to discuss. Mia's stomach churned. Who was this guy? What was he doing here? She felt eyes on her, and Samuel shifted uncomfortably beside her. Who are you? Rebecca demanded, crossing her arms. I'm Alex, the new strategic advisor, he said, seamlessly taking a seat at the table. "I've been brought in to assist with your current crisis." A wave of frustration washed over Mia. So now they had an outsider looking in on their struggle. "Listen, we appreciate the help, but we've got a clear vision." Samuel's voice rang firm, though Mia could sense his doubts about this new arrival. "Is that so?" Alex smirked, clearly unimpressed. "Well, let us see how far that vision will get you against a competitor that's already a step ahead." Mia could see the frustration bubbling in Rebecca, but what sent a pang through her heart was the realization that they were losing control over their own project. "I won't let that happen," Mia said, surprising herself as she spoke. Everyone turned to her, the eyes in the room suddenly held her accountable. She took a deep breath, determined. "We can't let anyone intimidate us. We have our dreams, our ideas, and we're going to fight for them, together." The conference room buzzed with a renewed energy, even as the tension remained. Would this new advisor be an obstacle or an unexpected ally? Mia's mind raced with thoughts, so many questions swirling. As they refocused, Mia's gaze fell on Alex. What was his true agenda? She was determined to find out. Little did she know, uncovering the truth could change everything, not just for their project but for their relationships as well. But as the meeting continued, a chilling thought loomed. What secrets lurked in his past that could either jeopardize everything they were building or push them to heights they never imagined? As the meeting progressed, Mia couldn't shake the unease that coiled in her stomach. Alex had settled in comfortably, flipping through some documents Jessica had hastily gathered. The way he scrutinized each paper felt invasive, like a surgeon preparing for a deep incision. "Let's talk strategy," Alex said, leaning forward. "What you need is to disrupt the market. Have your potential users generate buzz. Make them feel like they're part of something bigger." His suggestion hung in the air, and the room fell silent. Mia looked around, Samuel's brow was furrowed deep in thought, while Rebecca remained skeptical. "That sounds risky," Rebecca finally said, her voice steady but laced with concern. "We can't afford missteps." Mia felt a rush of frustration. That cautious approach was suffocating. "Maybe it's time we took risks," she shot back, her voice sharper than she intended. "We've already lost ground. If we keep playing it safe, we might as well wave a white flag." "Well put," Alex replied, his eyes glinting with interest. "A guerrilla strategy could set you apart. Turn the tide in your favor. It's all about making noise." Hope stirred again. Mia was starting to wonder if Alex might have insights that could help, despite his initial dismissal of their vision. But there was still something about him that felt off. She couldn't quite place it, a nagging feeling that perhaps he had motives hidden beneath his polished exterior. As if sensing her thoughts, Alex suddenly locked eyes with her. "And you, Mia, what do you think?" Caught off guard, Mia blinked. You mean really?" "Of course. Your passion can ignite this team. What can we do differently?" he prompted, arrogance lacing his tone. Mia struggled, her heart racing. "We could start with user-generated content, like you said. But not just noise stories, testimonials. People love authenticity. They connect with real experiences." "Good," Alex replied, a hint of genuine enthusiasm breaking through his aloof exterior. "Real connections inspire investment not just in your app but in your brand." Samuel nodded in agreement. "We could run a campaign where users share their stories of community through our app. That could build trust around us. Make it personal." Rebecca was writing notes, but Mia could tell she still harbored apprehension. Mia understood the stakes were monumental, and the looming pressure was palpable. "We need a pilot program," Alex suddenly announced, his voice commanding. "Gather a small group of users to beta test these features and the storytelling element. Feedback will be critical." Mia's excitement brightened, her heart now a steady beat of determination. They could turn this crisis into an opportunity. By seeking their users' stories, they could not just reclaim their momentum, but strengthen their community. But beneath the surface, lingering doubts continued to swirl. What if Alex's involvement complicated things? What if the stories they uncovered, instead of lifting them up, unearthed past wounds? That was when the door burst open again. This time, it was Jessica, a look of panic in her eyes. "Guys, you need to see this." Everyone turned to her, and the intensity in the room shifted. "See what?" Samuel asked, confusion rippling through the group. "Something's happening over on social media. It could change everything." Mia's heart raced. What could be so significant? Alex raised an eyebrow, curiosity blended with skepticism. As Jessica pointed to her phone, Mia leaned in closer, feeling every heartbeat echo in her ears. The world outside was shifting even faster than they had anticipated. Could this unexpected news propel them further into chaos, or was it the nudge they needed to take control of their destiny? In that moment, uncertainty loomed. What fresh challenges awaited them? And would they be strong enough to face them, together? The room felt electric as Jessica held up her phone, her fingers scrolling furiously. Everyone leaned closer, a mix of anxiety and intrigue coursing through the air. "Look at this!" Jessica exclaimed, the tension breaking just slightly in her voice. "This girl, she shared a story about our app, and it's going viral. People are loving it." "What girl?" Rebecca asked, her eyebrows raised. Mia caught her eye, sensing their shared wariness. Jessica continued, "Her name is Lily. She posted about how she discovered the app while struggling to connect with her community after moving here. She shared her experience in such an innocent, heartfelt way it's resonating with so many. Look at these comments." Mia's eyes widened as she peered over Jessica's shoulder. The post was saturated with likes and supportive messages. Each notification that pinged felt like a drumbeat, heralding something significant. While Mia whispered, feeling warmth spread through her chest. It was the kind of organic excitement they needed. "And that's not all," Jessica said, tapping her phone again. "This article is picking it up. They're featuring her story and our app together. They're describing it as a beacon of hope for communities." The pulse in Mia's chest quickened as adrenaline shot through her. "If we play this right, we could ride this wave," she murmured, her mind racing. Alex nodded slowly, his previous arrogance tempered by something almost resembling respect. "This could be the spark you were looking for. We need to react quickly, leverage her story, perhaps even collaborate with her. It could humanize your brand." "But we can't just jump in blindly," Rebecca cautioned, a frown creasing her forehead. "We don't know how many people are following this. If we mess this up, the backlash could be devastating." "It's true," Samuel added, crossing his arms. "But we also can't ignore a potential goldmine. We need a clear angle and respond fast." Mia could feel the room shifting, ideas swirling like a tempest. "We should reach out to Lily," she interjected, her voice steady and firm. "Invite her to help us tell this story. We can create a campaign built around her experience. It'll give our strategy authenticity." Alex leaned back, arms crossed, an intrigued smile touching his lips. "Now you're thinking. But we should act fast before the momentum dies down." Mia felt a flutter of excitement, but uncertainty still gnawed at her. There was so much at stake. What if we fly too close to the sun? What if she doesn't want to be involved, or worse, we exploit her story? That question hung thick in the air, taunting everyone. Jessica spoke up, "We need to tread carefully, but Lily seems genuine. I can reach out to her directly, see if she'd be willing to meet." Mia nodded, heart racing. Time was of the essence now. The chance to pivot their fortunes was right in front of them, but so was the possibility of missteps. As Jessica thumbed away at her phone, Mia felt the heat of anticipation mix with nagging doubt. They had little time to strategize and prepare. But if they didn't act decisively, they might miss their moment. The stakes were rising, emotions swirling, as Mia sensed they were on the precipice of something big. Just remember, Alex's voice broke through her thoughts, holding an edge of seriousness. The narrative needs to align with who you want to be, not just what's trending. Authenticity is key. Mia nodded, digesting his words. Let's do it right. At that moment, Jessica's phone chimed with a message. They all froze, eyes glued to her face as her brows shot up in surprise. Oh my gosh! Jessica exclaimed. Lily just responded. Mia felt the world hold its breath alongside her. What would Lily say? Would this be the turning point they weren't sure they were ready for? In that instant, the weight of possibility stirred emotions, and Mia was hit with one thought: could they really be on the brink of transforming everything, or was disaster lurking just beyond the edge? Mia leaned in closer, heart racing, as Jessica's face lit up with a mixture of disbelief and sheer excitement. The group collectively held their breaths, waiting for Jessica to read out loud. What does she say? Rebecca urged, her voice barely a whisper. Jessica quickly scanned the message before replying. She's willing to meet. She's excited to hear from us. A wave of relief washed over the room, momentarily dispelling the tension that had settled like a fog. But Jessica paused, glancing down at her phone again. She mentioned wanting to make sure her story isn't twisted or misrepresented. She really cares about the impact. Mia's heart sank but then soared again. That's good. She said, enthusiasm bubbling over. It means she knows her worth. If we can show her we genuinely want to help, it could be the perfect partnership. Where should we meet her? Samuel asked, already looking to fierce logistical planning. It has to set the right tone. How about a cafe? Mia suggested. Somewhere casual and friendly, where she'll feel comfortable. Maybe the one she mentioned in her post, the one that's community-focused. A great idea, Jessica agreed, sending Lily a message to finalize the details. But something gnawed at Mia as she watched Jessica type. What if they didn't meet her expectations? What if she would soon feel overwhelmed by the attention, or worse, cornered by corporations that only see numbers? Okay, just to clarify, Rebecca interjected suddenly, her voice firm, we need to approach this with care. We're not just riding a trend. We're talking about Lily's real life here. We shouldn't make it about us. Nodding, Mia felt her stomach churn. Exactly. She's not just a means to an end. We have to respect her boundaries, keep everything transparent. I want her to feel empowered through this, not used. As the others began planning what questions to ask and how to structure the meeting, Mia felt a moment of calming clarity. This could be their chance to redefine not just their app but also how they engage with the community, an authentic connection rooted in understanding rather than exploitation. When Jessica's phone chimed again, Mia's attention snapped back. It was another message from Lily. Jessica read it out loud. Lily wants to know what our vision for this collaboration looks like before we meet. She seems keen to understand our intentions. Alex smiled, impressed. She's sharp. Let's draft a brief but inviting outline. Something that shows her we're serious about doing this right. Mia took a deep breath, sensing a shift. I can do that. I want to make sure she feels valued, not just as a story. With a sense of urgency, they all worked together, fueled by each other's ideas and a shared purpose. Words flowed, ideas nuggeted into concrete sentences, creating the essence of their invitation to Lily. An hour later, they leaned back, exhausted but excited. As Jessica hit send on the email, each of them felt a mix of hope and apprehension. Now we just wait, Samuel murmured. Mia bit her lip, glancing at the clock. Time seemed to stretch into eternity. What if Lily didn't feel the same spark they had? What if this was all for nothing? Just then, Jessica's phone buzzed again, this time with a new notification that felt like thunder rolling in. They all tensed. Had Lily replied so quickly? Jessica's face paled as she read the message, her excitement dimming. Guys, it's an article. They're questioning our motives and painting a pretty harsh picture. Mia felt her heart drop. What do they say? Everyone huddled closer, dread shadowing their hopes. The tone of the article felt like a looming storm cloud, threatening to wash away everything they had worked towards. Could they stand against the winds of criticism, or was this the beginning of their downfall before they had even taken flight? Mia's heart raced as she scanned the article that Jessica had brought up on her phone. The headline blared, "Tech Startup Exploits Vulnerable Voices for Profit, How Authenticity Became the Latest Marketing Buzzword." With each word, her stomach twisted tighter. How could they say that? She murmured, bewilderment washing over her like cold water. We're trying to build something meaningful. Samuel read over her shoulder, brows knitted in concern. We can't let this define us, he said firmly, but there was an edge of uncertainty in his voice. Jessica's eyes darted back and forth. But we need to prepare. If the backlash escalates, it could derail everything. Rebecca's face was an impassive mask. We should address this head-on. Show people we're genuine. Point out the moving stories we're amplifying rather than hiding behind a narrative. Mia felt a surge of determination mixed with anxiety. You're right. Lily is not just a pawn in our game. We have to speak out, share who we are and what we stand for. As they brainstormed a response strategy, Mia's mind raced. She thought back to her grandmother's wise, powerful words that had kept her moving forward even when the world felt set against her. We fight. The mantra replayed in her mind. We need a press release that emphasizes our commitment to authenticity and community. It shouldn't just be about defending ourselves. It should be a celebration of the stories we want to uplift, Mia declared, her voice rising with conviction. Now that's the spirit. Alex chimed in, a glint of admiration in his eyes. We're going to steer this narrative ourselves. Let us showcase the positive impact we're aiming for. Samuel added suggestions, breathing life into the killer idea Mia had sparked. Let us include testimonials from other users about how the app has helped them connect, just like Lily. Absolutely, Mia nodded. This isn't just our fight, it's a fight for every voice in our community. The team worked like a well-oiled machine, pouring their energy into crafting the release. Hours passed, seemingly both slow and fast at the same time. Each word they typed felt like a step toward not just salvaging their project but igniting something much deeper, a movement that stood for authenticity and real human connection. Finally, Jessica finished the draft and looked around the room, a spark of hope in her eyes. Are we ready to hit send? Mia nodded, her heart racing in anticipation and trepidation. Let us do it. No looking back. The email flew off, and the moment felt electric, as if sending it sealed their commitment to making a real difference. They stood united, a solid front prepared to address whatever storm awaited them. And then, as if the universe had conspired to intervene, Mia's phone buzzed. It was Lily. Hey guys, I just saw the article. I want us to meet and talk about what you're doing. I want to help. Joy surged through Mia. Yes. This is our chance. The meeting was set for tomorrow at that cozy cafe Mia had suggested. They had to make this right. Together, they'd turn the tide. Together, they'd seize the moment. As they filed out for the day, Mia felt the weight of uncertainty slowly lift. She could almost hear her grandmother's voice, "You keep moving forward, Mia." The streets felt different, charged with a new sense of purpose. With every step, hope pulsed through her veins. The next day arrived with the kind of bright light that promised change. At the cafe, Mia spotted Lily seated at a corner table, her expression warm and inviting. They greeted with a hug, pulling her in as they settled into their seats. Together, they shared an understanding that hovered thick in the air. Thank you for coming, Mia began, her voice steady. We genuinely want to honor your story. You're not just a statistic, you're part of this community. And I believe in your vision, Lily replied, her eyes sparkling. Let us show people what real connection looks like. With laughter over coffee and shared ideas blossoming, Mia felt the weight of doubt finally break away. Here were their dreams, no longer stranded but flourishing in the company of shared passion. As they pieced together a plan, Mia glanced around the cafe, watching community members interact, laughter and warmth radiating throughout the space. It was everything she hoped their app would embody. This was about more than just technology, it was about bringing people together, weaving their stories into something beautiful. Mia knew then that this was just the beginning, not just for their app but for her and everyone intertwined in their journey. They were crafting a legacy built on empathy, transforming struggles into stories of triumph. Later that week, when Mia sat with her grandmother, reflecting on how far they had come, tears welled in her eyes as she whispered, "We did it. We're fighting together." Her grandmother clasped her hand, pride shining in her eyes. "That's how we rise, Mia. We lift each other up." Life's tumultuous journey awaited them, but with each challenge, they would embrace the power of their shared strength. And with each heartbeat, Mia felt that, just like the app they were building, their family ties would grow deeper, richer, and stronger. The future lay ahead, bright and promising, and as they pressed on together, Mia realized, this moment was just the start of something extraordinary. Now you need to take action. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and support our journey. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about Mia's incredible transformation. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this uplifting journey. True fans know how critical it is to support our channel through these actions. Let us keep this momentum going.